Have you ever looked in the mirror and not recognized yourself? The gray hair, the lines, the extra weight. Sometimes, the mirror can be our worst enemy. In today's story, I want to take you to that exact moment of vulnerability. Because sometimes, all it takes to heal that insecurity, is the touch of a man who has loved you for 20 years. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let's look into that mirror together. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror and the fluorescent light showed no mercy. There was the inventory of 50 years. The crow's feet that no longer vanished when I stopped smiling, the gray winning the battle at my temples and, above all, that new curve above the elastic of my boxers. I sucked in my gut purely by reflex, an absurd attempt to retrieve the 30-year-old guy I no longer am. I sighed, letting the air and my belly return to their place. The body stops being armor and becomes an archive of everything you've lived, the long dinners, the shared wines, the calm, and sometimes, reading it in the mirror is scary. I heard his bare steps on the tiles before I saw him. He didn't say anything. He never needs to say anything. I felt his broad chest press against my back, his warmth radiating through my old t-shirt. "You're thinking too much again," he whispered close to my ear, with that hoarse, just woken up voice that calms me instantly. His arms slipped under mine and encircled me. There was no judgment in his touch. Quite the opposite. His warm hand settled on my stomach with a quiet firmness, like someone resting a hand on something that belongs to them, something comfortable and familiar that they like exactly as it is. He looked at me through the mirror and smiled. He wasn't looking at my wrinkles, or my gray hair. He was looking at me. With that quiet hunger of someone who has been eating at the same table for 20 years and still savors every last bit. I turned slowly, pressed against him, until we were face to face. There was no mirror between us anymore, only his dark eyes, the familiar scent that I liked so much, and that breathing that was beginning to change its rhythm. He kissed me. It was a thick, wet kiss that tasted of coffee and overdue sleep. His hands rose from my waist to my broad back, squeezing me against him with force, erasing any distance, until I felt the buckle of his belt and the undeniable hardness beneath his clothes brushing against my thigh. There was the proof. Without words. I groaned against his mouth and my hands went to the back of his neck, getting lost in his gray hair. We stayed like that for a while, in that clumsy, marvelous friction of two bodies that fit together by memory, rocking in the silence of the bathroom. Him desiring me, and me letting myself be desired. When he pulled away, just a few centimeters, his lips were swollen and his gaze was bright. He gave my arm one last squeeze, a silent promise that this would continue later. "Get dressed," he said, his voice still thick, breaking the spell but keeping the smile. "The sea is rough today. Let's go see it before it gets dark." Half an hour later, the salty wind hit our faces on the boardwalk. The sun was beginning to set, dyeing the water a dense, almost metallic gold. We walked slowly, in no hurry to get anywhere, with that synchronicity in our steps that you only achieve after thousands of shared kilometers. I put my hands in my jacket pockets, still with the echo of his touch on my skin. I glanced sideways. There he was, with his usual profile, a little more worn, but just as solid. Without taking my hand out of my pocket, I felt a graze. His hand sought mine. It wasn't a shy grasp like first boyfriends, but a firm anchor. He interlaced his fingers with mine and squeezed, pulling me slightly to bring me closer to his side, closing the distance between our shoulders. Before us, the horizon opened immensely. And for the first time in a long time, feeling his rough, warm hand holding mine, I stopped thinking about what we were or what we no longer are. I took a deep breath of the salt air. We were this. Two men walking in front of the sea, with changed bodies but with full hands. And that, I thought as I squeezed his hand back, is more than enough. We often chase the excitement of the first date, but there is nothing quite like the peace of a hand that knows exactly how to hold yours. If this story made you feel a little less alone, or a little more understood, then you are in the right place. I am Luca. I tell stories about real men, real bodies, and real passion. If you want more stories like this, please click that subscribe button. It helps me keep writing. And, if you want to know what happens when the bedroom door closes and the lights go out, check the link in the description for my uncensored collection.